Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I am joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
And we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis.
Indeed.
The segment where we summarize all the Psycho for you. Just a scattering of topics throughout the week, all summarized into one neat little package for you to enjoy and consume at your leisure.
You're welcome.
Anyways, we got a couple topics today. There was a couple that we actually were going to talk about, but there wasn't enough information on. Mm-hmm. I may have mentioned on Twitter that we were going to talk about Interview with a Vampire. It's still something on our radar, but there wasn't so much to talk about yet. When more comes out, we will cover it.
Indeed, we will. So for now, let's just begin with our first client. The Rings of Power. Again.
Genuine Lord of the Rings fans. Evil cannot create anything new. They can only corrupt and ruin what good forces have invented or made.
It's not wrong.
As you can see, it says Roundtable, a close-up of the official teaser trailer for The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Prime Video and Amazon Studios shared The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Superfans review for the newly released trailer for the upcoming television series, and the focus of the review has to do with racial and identity politics.
Which immediately tells you that they're not super fans.
Now, the reason we're saying this is because it's not just based on assumptions of behavior or whatever. Like, this trailer, you will not find it. It is unlisted now because they were getting destroyed. But basically, they got people who literally have never made videos or any posts about Lord of the Rings ever, which people have checked, and brought them in and basically gave them a script of what to say. And one of them's even like, if Sauron is, like, hot, then, like, people will be like, I could fix them. And then there's just a bunch of people there spouting off about how they're so excited for the diversity and inclusion because they haven't seen, they loved the original, but it didn't have this, but it didn't have that, but it didn't have this.
Again, not real super fans.
Here's the thing, and I hate that we have to keep making this clear, but we do because people will continue to fly this message around even when we do make it clear. Mm-hmm. Let's make this very, very clear. People who do not like the diversity in this is not because they are racist. Are there people out there who probably are and have those feelings? I'm sure there are.
They are a major minority.
Exactly. And the majority of fans don't like it because it's not what Tolkien wrote.
Yeah. None of what's going on in Rings of Power is remotely accurate to Tolkien's words.
But it's okay, if you don't like it, you're just obviously racist or a bigot. The rest doesn't matter.
Why must we keep on using the bingo card?
Because they continue to give me excuses to use it.
Good point.
They're not super fans. You hid the trailer for a reason. You know it's bad. If you were at all self-aware and you didn't want to lose all the money that you're going to be losing in this billion-dollar investment, you would come out with a statement basically saying that you understand people are upset, but you tried to do justice to the lore. If they could just give it a shot, you'd be appreciative of it.
Yeah.
By now, though, unfortunately, because of what you've already said and done, chances are, even if you came out with something like that, Amazon, no one would care.
Yeah, seriously, you lost your chance, you blew it.
It's just like, come on. This is not something that's difficult to do. Understand where fans are coming from. Stop trying to pull out the buzzword bingo and call them a bunch of names, because guess what? It's not working, people see through it, and you've barely seen the backlash that will happen once this thing drops.
Yeah, this is a war you cannot win.
Yep, so you have chosen death.
Indeed they have. Shall we move on? Our next client is Beyblade.
It is going to rip big time.
Heh.
In a move that has taken everyone by absolute surprise, Jerry Bruckheimer and Paramount have announced plans to produce a live-action film based on the popular Japanese toy line, Beyblades.
This is stupid.
I did watch a little bit of Beyblades, especially more the newer stuff, which was like kind of remakes or whatever. But I did play Beyblades when I was younger with my friends and stuff, and it was a fun game. It wasn't terrible, but literally the equivalent of this game is literally spinning tops at each other until they bash each other to death.
Yeah, it's literally a battle of tops.
And they have, like, cool monsters imbued in them. It's kind of like a cross between Yu-Gi-Oh! And
Bakugan?
Not, Bakugan came after, so it was kind of a cross between Yu-Gi-Oh! And spinning tops. Like, the bit pieces, which are the pieces on the top, contained monsters. inside of them. So you could call on the power of Dragoon or all this other whatever. The fact that they are making a live action film. Not everything needs to be live action.
Especially when it comes to anime, which never does well in live action.
What are you going to do with this? You're going to have grown men with little ripcords going, let it rip!
Fart.
There's not a lot of information on it yet, but I'm just like, what?
I'm speechless. I have nothing to say on this. It's too stupid.
I'm calling it now. We will get, if this movie does at all okay, which it might, I don't know, we will get live action Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, boy.
We will get live action Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm calling it now. We're going to get that.
How are they even going to do Yugi's hair? They couldn't even do Goku's hair in that Dragon Ball movie, which no one speaks of.
I don't know. They'll probably just make him a female. That way they can do his hair whatever they want. I just don't want to see this, honestly. I don't think it will translate well into live action. I think it was probably one of the worst properties you could have picked.
Yeah.
And good luck with that. We'll bring you more information on this as it...
develops?
Into what? I don't know. But
Moving on. Venus de Milo is making her return in Ninja Turtles.
IDW Publishing announced they'll be including the 5th Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, a female named Venus, in their ongoing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic book series.
And yes, that picture of the thing covered in wires is Venus de Milo in this series.
Look, Venus de Milo was a character introduced that had some people very happy and some people very unhappy.
I didn't mind her when I watched the live action version.
But she hasn't been widely popular, and I'm not saying she's a bad character either. I'm just saying, like, she just wasn't wildly popular.
No, but the version that I watched as a kid was a decent character, and I thought she was actually introduced pretty well.
But as you can see here from this image, it looks like they're going kind of a more robotic route.
Meaning she's not actually a turtle, she's a robot.
Which would be interesting, I guess.
But I mean, that just means she's automatically going to be better than the rest of them. And look at one of her hands. One's a turtle, the other was a frog.
I don't even know. I just think it's very strange to bring her back. It makes sense that they would, but this is the same company that once marketed their comics with, no female turtles allowed or whatever. Like they because of the backlash for casting
Venus de Milo, which I actually liked.
Again, nothing was wrong with her character, just that kind of adding a 5th turtle randomly was just kind of weird.
Yeah, the way they did it in that live action show, The Next Mutation, which only lasted one season, was that she did get mutated with the other 4, but then got swept away in the sewer and ended up adopted by a Japanese shinobi.
Yes, that's what they did. But it just was kind of strange to me. I don't think it was something that needed to happen. I have no problem with her, but I don't know what they're going to plan to do with her here. As you can see, Leo's very surprised to see what's going on here.
I do like that version of the Ninja Turtles.
I guess it will be interesting to see what they do here. Whether this will go over well or not, we'll have to see.
Considering they're making her a robot and therefore probably automatically stronger than the other 4 turtles, I doubt it's going to go over well.
I don't know. It could be something completely different. We have no idea.
Maybe, but it completely destroys the character of Venus, in my opinion. She was a character with flaws, especially when it came to American culture. They were always correcting her on those.
Look, we'll have to wait and see. It's strange to bring her back, but not in this kind of, way society is nowadays. It kind of actually would make more sense for them to do so. What they do with her, how they will either make her better or make her worse, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Moving on. King Valkyrie is our next client.
King me? A recently debuted Thor Love and Thunder themed toy set, the Goat Boat.
Bad name.
Describes Tessa Thompson's character as King Valkyrie.
Why the Goat Boat?
I'm just looking at the goats they have on their thing, and they tried to make them out of Lego, and they didn't do a good job, obviously.
Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder. They're supposed to pull Thor's chariot, not a frickin' longboat.
It says Asgard Tours on it.
And is that Korg?
Yep, it is. Comic relief, right?
Right. And why is female Thor holding a broken hammer?
It's a reforged Mjolnir.
That shouldn't be a thing.
Spoiler for anybody who actually cares enough.
That shouldn't even be a thing.
I don't really have words. This I mean, it's Lego. They had to do with what they had. Why they're trying so hard to make Valkyrie, like, more important. Like, they also released, like, some power she's going to have. Like, she's going to be able to revive people like a Valkyrie.
No, Valkyries in mythology don't actually revive people. They are spirits that bring soldiers' souls of those who died in battle to Valhalla. So the fact that her power of sensing when people are close to death is accurate. Everything else is not.
Well, she's going to be able to revive the dead, and not only that, is when she sometimes revives the dead, she can sometimes end up in their bodies.
Valkyries can't do that!
You forget who's doing this, honey. It's Marvel.
But I love Vikings and Norse mythology. They're ruining it.
No, Becky.
No, bad Marvel. Bad Marvel, bad. Make it go away.
I have a feeling that this movie isn't going to do well. We'll have to wait and see. I don't like what I'm hearing. And to be fair, let's be 100% honest here. I wasn't planning to go anyways.
No.
So I'm not, like, upset about this revelation. I just kind of like, okay.
Sigh.
MCU.
Let's move on before I get upset. Or more upset. Our next client in the waiting room is Moon Knight.
So this is an interesting one.
Especially for us.
Alan Zelenetz, I believe, is what his name's pronounced. The writer who originally introduced Moon Knight's Jewish heritage into Marvel canon has revealed that he doesn't particularly care if the character's upcoming Disney Plus series remains faithful to this aspect of the Fist of Khonshu's identity. He was responding to backlash and stuff that people have had about this, not if they're casting Oscar Isaac for Moon Knight, that he's not Jewish and it needs to be a Jewish whatever. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't need to be a Jewish actor. If they're completely taking out the Jewish aspect of the character, though, does that mean we're losing our representation?
Yeah, Marvel, where's our representation, huh?
We're Jewish. We don't get enough representation.
How can I see myself as a psychopathic guy who wears a hood and runs around killing people and stuff unless he's Jewish? What if I want to identify with him?
Sorry.
You're taking that away.
No, it's just the fact that they might be taking away a Jewish aspect is I don't know. Are we overreacting on this?
No, look, I have no problem with it not being Jewish or not. I'm not that, interested in the show to begin with.
We're also not really that petty.
I just found that the writers' comments were very exaggerated and saying how, like, oh no, it's going to be terrible. And it's like, and then at the end he says he doesn't care. Look, Alan, if you didn't care, you wouldn't have commented.
True.
So, let's be honest, you do care, but you're not going to do anything about it, nor are you going to be moved by people screaming for backlash or whatever. And again, we're not advocating for backlash here, and we're not saying we have a problem with it. We're saying it's kind of a shame if they don't bring this up, because it could be a very good avenue for, representation.
And story in general.
But we are dealing with current day Marvel, so I'm not holding out any hope for this. The series looks interesting. I'm probably not going to watch anyways because we don't have Disney Plus. We don't have any interest in getting Disney Plus.
Nope.
But it would have been nice to have seen some sort of, Jewish representation, and we may still.
Yeah, I mean, like the scene from this comic panel of him saving a Torah scroll. That's pretty important to us in our culture and religion.
Yeah, and it's nice to see. And when we saw this, even though it wasn't a big story, we decided to cover it because, as you guys know, my wife and I are Jewish.
We are.
So it's kind of sad to hear that we might not get representation, especially when they're going out of their way to include it in other places. But, I guess we'll wait and see. We could be completely wrong, and if we are, we will own up to that fact.
True. And then again, we're not really that petty. It's just a shame that they might not keep this.
And I think that the writer is full of crap. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't have commented, which you did, so you care. Don't lie.
My husband is right on this.
But yeah, would have been nice to see. Maybe we will see it. Don't know. Probably not going to watch it anyways. But if they do, bring this aspect in, and I might see a clip or two here and there, that would be nice.
It would be. It would be really nice for us.
But only if it works with the story. I don't want them to shoehorn this in and then make it not work.
Yeah. Especially if they don't do it well.
we'll have to wait and see. I'm predicting some more backlash if they do bring this Jewish aspect into it and Oscar Isaac is playing him, they're probably going to be like, well, he has to be Jewish. Spoiler alert, it's called acting.
You don't have to actually be the thing you're portraying, you dumbasses.
Well, they don't realize that. You see, they only can identify with things they see that are like them. So that's what we're dealing with here, is that these people need to see something that is like them, and when they don't see it, they get upset. Again, how about letting the actual Jewish people speak for themselves?
Like we are doing right now.
Which, again, we don't care if he's not Jewish.
But seeing this scene still would be nice.
Yes, but it can be done by someone who's not Jewish, as long as it's done right.
Yeah, we don't care about that part.
I know that's a shocker, but it's true.
Next in our waiting room is Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them. A new Obi-Wan Kenobi rumor claims the Jedi Master will face off against Darth Vader at least twice in the upcoming Disney Plus series.
That's a canon breaker.
They don't care.
I know.
You see, we've realized the truth now. Disney is catering to a specific kind of Star Wars fan, in a sense where they either want people who are fully invested in the sequel trilogy and love that, or Reylos, or whatever you want to call them.
Reylos are weird.
And then the people who are fans, but not, like, super fans, who they could just dangle some member berries and be like, we're going to have them fight, we're going to have Obi-Wan fight Darth Vader, come watch!
Yes, except the people who really understand lore and want canon to be respected know that there, as we said in our last Psycho-Synopsis, there is no meeting between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan between when they fought on Mustafar and when they fight in the Death Star.
Yes, but unfortunately, because they didn't say that specifically when they met each other, what I think Vader said was, the circle is now complete. When I left, I was but the learner.
Now I am the master.
And so it's made very clear that he's referring to Mustafar and that he hasn't seen him since then. Mm-hmm. But because there's wiggle room, they're going to wiggle room.
Whether it's a flashback or a flash forward, who knows?
I guarantee it's going to be a flashback for one of them, and I guarantee the other one's going to be a more recent thing, because whatever.
As long as it's only like a hallucination or a projection or whatever, then that might make a little more sense.
Here's what I'm going to say about it, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't care anymore. I have become apathetic to Star Wars. This would have bothered me, and it's just like, oh, they're going to break canon again. How lovely.
What else have they not done?
It's at this point, they've made it very clear that they're not going to change. They're going to keep catering to these people who don't really like Star Wars. They just like kind of the messages and whatever. Or the fans, the casual fans who keep coming back for the member berries. And my wife and I are neither one of them.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to come back for member berries. We're not going to come back because we like the sequel trilogy, because, spoiler alert, we don't.
Jinx.
But, like, it's just this blatant coming out and saying, oh, he's going to fight twice, oh, he's going to do this, oh, he's going to do that. It's literally to get people angry. At this point, we're just chronicling the demise of Star Wars. As far as I'm concerned, Star Wars is dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Again, if you like the new stuff, you're more than welcome to like the new stuff. No one's telling you can't.
Well, it's more like it's undead at this point.
But at this point, I'm just like, oh boy, they're going to break canon again. What else is new? I expected this. And it's like, we can't just break canon once. We have to break it twice.
2 of them.
Not going to watch it when it comes out. Probably going to report on it anyways, just to kind of, what we hear. Mm-hmm. But whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah. Let's move on then to our last client of the day, the Galactic Starcruiser.
Oh, give us your firstborn for access!
You said it wrong. Demon voice.
Give us your firstborn for access.
Better. Much better.
Immerse yourself in the action aboard the Halcyon, the ship at the center of Star Wars' Galactic Starcruiser. Passengers are invited to help defend the ship by working stations on the bridge, all with an incredible view of the galaxy.
It's Space Galaga.
It's only for $6,000!
Plus, if you're counting everything that you have to pay for once you're actually inside.
Well, it's $6,000, and you get to man stations on the bridge, which is playing Space Galaga. Mm-hmm. You get to listen to Gaia perform with her Rhodian backup singer.
I thought it was her DJ.
Don't know, don't care.
And why does the Rhodian have a wig? Rhodians don't have hair!
And guess what? For all you sequel fans out there, you get to see Kylo Ren and Rey fight each other. Oh my god!
In a stage fight, which is clearly choreographed.
What do you mean purely choreographed? They have like kicks that don't land, and there's a point where they literally look like they're going to slice through a railing, and they don't.
And yeah, she picks up another lightsaber that's already lit on the ground.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing. A lot of people are coming out and saying it's amazing or whatever, and here is my take on it. If this was a much less steep of a price, I'd have no problem with it.
It would probably be a little bit more worth the money.
Yes, but these people coming out and saying, like, the Galactic Starcruiser is amazing, you have to understand. These people are either Disney blogs or influencers that Disney has flown there for free.
Yeah.
So they aren't paying. So when they praise it and say how amazing it is, it very well might be for them.
Yeah, I recognized one of the people in the video. He's a YouTuber who does stuff for Disney, and his brother just went there for free. I don't know how much they've said about it, but apparently they were able to film just about everything.
And look, it's totally fine if people liked it. The issue that we have here is, first off, it's not original trilogy, which makes no sense. It would have been much cooler to see Luke and Vader fight or something like that. It didn't have to be canon. Mm-hmm. And they make it like it's set between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and it's Rey and Kylo fighting, and they talk about their past, including how something is different. You've been training? To Rey, which again, who are you justifying her powers to?
Also, he's not supposed to have a helmet between those two movies.
Mm-hmm. He reforges it in the Rise of Skywalker.
Canon breaker, but then again, Disney Star Wars is full of inconsistencies.
Should have missed opportunity, Disney. You should have called this ship the Cannon Breaker, because that seems like what you're happy to do, right? Why make her throw lines in there like, have you been training? With who? Luke is dead. Leia trains her for like 5 minutes at the beginning or whatever. That's not enough.
No.
Rey lost nothing. Rey did not gain anything. Now, I get that people like her as a character or whatever, but again, my point is, why are you explaining her powers to us when clearly the people who are going to come here are people who are either in love with Rey and Kylo and love that so much, or people who aren't actual fans of Star Wars, but think that Star Wars is neat?
I imagine both.
But who are you explaining away her powers about? And there's a bunch of videos out there, and they're cringe, and it looks cheap. And the thing is, it's not a terrible looking experience. The issue that we have is that it's so expensive. Mm-hmm. If they made it like they cut the price in half, perhaps that would be worth it.
But it's still expensive.
People are saying that it's very immersive, and I'm sure it is. But for that amount of money to say, like, to try and make it seem like it's better than it is, and putting out all these articles about how amazing it is when no one's actually paid to go there yet. Because, again, you're going to enjoy something a lot more when you don't have to pay for it.
That's true.
Free anything makes it more interesting. So, again, could this be a good experience? It does look like it's very immersive. It looks like it's something that they've at least put a little more effort into than maybe we thought. But it, to me, looks terrible. Not something I'd ever spend money on, even if it was less. And I have no interest in seeing Rey and Kylo fight. I don't.
Nor do I.
And I don't care about Captain Kevin, and I don't care about all their other stuff. And then, of course, you go there and you have to pay for your drinks and all this stuff. And if you want, you get taken there in a box truck.
How fun!
Oh, Disney magic!
I don't know, I was trying to make a magic noise. I'll stop now.
Okay. I'm gonna scooch over here now.
No! Don't go!
Okay. But yeah, if you want to sacrifice your firstborn for access...
No, thank you!
You can. Whether it's worth it, well, you'll have to tell us.
That's our last client of the day, which means it is time for the diagnosis of the week.
And we have an interesting diagnosis for you today.
Do tell.
So the diagnosis for this week is mythomania.
Please explain.
Now, mythomania is also classified as psychological lying, but it's basically excessive or abnormal propensity for lying or exaggerating. And there's a couple different kinds of conceited, wanderer, or clever one, and the pervert, which are all different ways of basically kind of blustering and kind of exaggerating and lying about things. And we think that this is a very good and fitting diagnosis for this week because that's literally what's happening. All these Disney influencers and people who are going to these things, or people for Lord of the Rings, or all this kind of stuff, are lying and making it exaggerating what they've experienced because they're either paid to or they want to continue getting access. So with that in mind, I think that this is a very accurate diagnosis for this week.
I completely agree.
But now we move on to the remedy of the week.
And this week we will be sending you to Brandon, the anime guy. We recently did a 4-part video with him on Rising of the Shield Hero. He talks about anime, games, pop culture, but mostly anime. And he's a nice guy, really knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and Brandon, the anime guy, actually unfortunately had in the past a YouTube channel terminated. So this is his new one, which he has built back up again. Let's see if we can build him up a bit more. So we're going to send some people over to him. So grab your anime or manga and head on over.
And let him know that Gothic Therapy referred you.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's all we have for this week. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will be charged. You can follow us on social media. All those links you can find in the description below, as well as links to our Discord server called The Clinic and our merch store. But that's all we have for this week, and we'll see you in the next one.
Gothic Therapy,